Welcome, everyone, to Lessons Learned. My name is Vincent Veza. I'm an author and the founder of Hidden Treasure Novels, and also the representative for the North Carolina Writers Network Regional Chapter. I'm here today to introduce two of our chapter members, authors in their own right, who are going to share their experience today with you. I'm so happy and honored to welcome Dr. Larry Jones and co-author Audrey Jones, and I'm going to turn the stage over to them in just a moment so that they can share their message with you. And so I turn it over to you guys. Larry, Audrey, share a little bit about yourself.
Hello, hi, I'm Dr. Larry Jones, my wife Audrey Jones. We are the authors of Falling Through the Ceiling, our ADHD family memoir. Our goal in writing the book was to really present a family story in terms of how ADHD affects the entire family. And in the process, how we raised our three sons, how did we get through that process, how we were able to sort of manage. Presently, our sons are in their 40s, so at that point, there was a lot less information available about ADHD. And our goal was basically to try to manage their behaviors as best we could, primarily being that inattentive type, the ones that are not hyperactive. Our sons basically had educational problems in terms of not performing at the peak as you related to their test scores and all. But with the help of the teachers, with the help of family members, as well as our church friends, we basically built a village for our sons that got them through school and on into college and into adulthood. But what we found when searching the literature, we were unable to find any other books who told it from the family's perspective of what the family went through, as opposed to academic versions which describe more from the counseling or coaching perspective how a family relates and deals with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. So we wanted to create a special niche for our book in order to be able to spread the message, as well as make sure that parents had a much easier journey than the one that we had.
Thank you, Larry. Right now, we're going to go into the second lesson. And that is leveraging your knowledge.
All right. As the other author of the book, we started out to share our knowledge, but we didn't realize that there was such an opportunity or a need to leverage it in order for the book to be received well in the community. First of all, we self-published, so we went through all the self-publishing needs, but then we had to figure out how to leverage that information by spreading it. The first feedback we received from people was that they didn't understand ADHD anyway. They didn't buy the book because they didn't understand the topic really. So that's when we started getting out into the community and presenting about our story and our book. So being self-published, we had the opportunity to kind of do it the way we wanted to do it, and which is one of the benefits of self-publishing to me. So we were able to leverage our story into the community by participating in lots of different kinds of volunteer activities. So for our kind of book, that really was useful. We, of course, are on Facebook and in all the social media, and we'll give them to you before we get off. But we leveraged our information to present more. We didn't write, not to write so much again. We wrote a few articles, we have a blog that expresses further information, but we really wanted to leverage our knowledge by spreading it into the community. So that's what we did. And there's several projects and activities And I think our biggest ones, Larry will tell you about.
Things that we learned as we really began to try to leverage the book was that the book told lots of different stories within the message about our family. It was the story of love and marriage. It was the story of raising children. It was the story of how you build that village to protect your children and to give them the best opportunity that you can as a parent. From that, we felt with our move to Charlotte that we had an opportunity to spread our message through schools and to help schools in terms of helping teachers, families, and children to understand ADHD, or more broadly, any barriers to academic success, which could be behavioral, or it could be some sort of learning aberration or disorder. So with that, we've been able to make our entree into the schools, actually partnering with another group of volunteers who also mentor. And our approach has been to try to get parents more actively involved in the process of educating their children, as well as advocating for their children, to ensure that they get the best opportunity possible within the schools where they are getting their education. And then came COVID. We were week 9 of a 10-week program. We worked with the school to at least bring some conclusions to the program by creating an online graduation for the children and a summary of the program so the parents could see actually what the children had learned during the course of that 9-week period. So we had children, parents, and administration and teachers from the school on that final presentation, which at least gave the kids some conclusion. They got their certificates, and they got some mementos from that experience. So going forward, we'll continue again with a similar program next year. It may well be based upon the situation, completely virtual, or if we're allowed back into the school, we may have some limited direct contact. But the main thing in terms of as we envision the changes and the progression from the book to where we are now is that I've trained as an ADHD and life coach and started a coaching practice called Taste of Success Coaching. And through that, we'll be able to reach out to more families and communities to provide assistance in order to achieve more success for the children and to move towards resilience.
And we've also launched a series of conversations that we had planned to be what we call table talks, which would be conversations based on various parts of our book that would be among and between family and Larry as a professional or other professionals as a pediatrician and a life coach, and other professionals, starting with families telling their stories, families who he has coached, but telling their stories. And because of COVID, it has become a national project. Now we have table talks going on with people across the country, and we're setting them up, much like this conversation, as Zoom meetings where people we'll be doing ones where people can call in and ask questions. So we're trying to expand our community and the knowledge and interest in our book, and it has improved our sales. Also, Larry's had a lot of opportunities to speak to groups like NAMI and be part of that. And we are therefore expanding our community to a national community, and COVID has been part of COVID has necessitated we move that way. We had lots of book signings. We had a national book tour almost. We had an East Coast book tour we had set up. We had planned to be in Washington for 2 events in April. We were going on another trip. We were rushing back to get to the North Carolina Writers Network Spring Conference, and then which turned into a Cabin Fever Conference, which was wonderful and so helpful. And I would recommend it for anybody who, first of all, joined the organization, but secondly, after joining the organization, it helps you to spread your community just within North Carolina, because North Carolina is so rich in writing great authors. So that was canceled. Then we had 2 other conferences. We were going to be in Florida in May. Then we were going to be in Texas in October. And we had several other local events planned. So because of COVID on all those cancellations, we are focusing on our table talks as a way to expand our community nationally.
Wonderful. Wow. Thank you for sharing this. How do people find out about Enable Tables? And I'm going to leave this on the screen for just a moment, with your permission, Audrey and Larry, because I think it takes people to a website. And if you could just share a little bit about what they can expect when they go to enabletables.com.
Sure. Well, our website has explained, first of all, it talks about stigma to stability. And the objective in our writing is for people to be able to remove stigma as a family member or parent, and to look toward creating stability for your child so that they can move forward and build their own resilience. And so our segment talks about that. We have features, as I said, we have a blog that we bring in articles that people might have missed. We are very active with CHAD, which is the
Childhood Attention Deficit Disorder Organization.
And we have a section there that explains a lot of things from that. And then there's the opportunity for folks to do a couple of things actively. One is to get a free half-hour counseling session with Dr. Larry as a coach, and also, of course, to purchase the book on site and to sign up for we have giveaways. We have a lot of different programs, and also they'll be able to see all of our table talks on our website. And also they'll be able to see this and everything that we do. So that's what we do on our website. We also are, of course, on all the social media, and I've learned that we should concentrate on a couple. So I say that we're concentrating on Facebook, and when Dr. Larry has his Facebook, which is what, Larry?
Taste of Success Coaching .com, through Facebook, and also through Instagram.
And we have Falling Through the Ceiling, which is a Facebook page. And then we also have Twitter and Instagram, Falling Through FTTC. And Twitter is Enable Tables. So all these social media are listed, but if people are just thumbing through social media, anytime they put in Falling Through the Ceiling, they'll come to some place where we are. So that's what our website tells you.
Awesome. Well, I thank you guys for joining us today.
And thank you, Vince.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vince, because you've been a great help to us and a great support. And I recommend anybody in the Charlotte area who's an author to look at, consider joining the North Carolina Writers Network.